Hello, everyone, and again, welcome to Shop Secure. I am not ever going to use my actual name on the channel. I just want to get that out there so I can't introduce myself as Hey Bob or whatever, because I'm still actively involved in the realm of asset protection and loss prevention. I'm not going to disclose what company I work for or where in the United States I work. Just gave that away. I'm in the United States. Good luck. If for some odd, awkward reason you do know me, and or you recognize me, or whatever the case may be, you figure out who I am or already know, please don't put it in chat. Um, I don't need, of course, suspects knowing who I am. It's just not a good feeling having information out there, like being in this job field. So this being video number one, I'm gonna have to use some terms that I'm gonna have to get used to. I gotta adjust some language that I use um, to help you understand what I'm trying to convey. Because right now my mind is exploding with knowledge and information and words and statements and opinions and views that I want to get it all out there. And I would be more than happy to sit here for 6 hours straight, just yapping off at the mouth. But I can't do that. This being a new channel, I want to get to the point and just let it progress. And also, please forgive me if I'm not the most eloquent, beautiful speaker on YouTube that a lot of YouTubers are. Uh, I went back and watched some of my favorite YouTubers back when they were in their little infant YouTube stage when they very first started, and man, a lot of them you would swear and you would bet your paycheck that it's two different people. Yeah, but as their channel grew, as they gained experience, as they done it more and more and more, of course, they became better speakers. They developed a better flow and structure for the channel, for their audience, and I hope that I'll also get there. And at this point, of course, brand new channel. This being the technically second video, I am not monetized. I'm not making money on this. It's just something that is a passion of mine. It's been a passion of mine for over a decade. Um, I dive into this thing head first. Some of my coworkers, they can't stand it. Not literally, but I will talk their head off even about this whole thing because I'm passionate about it. And being passionate about it, I try my best to stay as informed and educated that I possibly can. And I had noticed that I was always commenting on videos on YouTube, offering insight and knowledge. And then I figured, like, why am I just bouncing from one video to the next, just leaving comments that probably rarely being read? I mean, we're 2023. People watch videos and they're clicking off the video. We're in the what what I call the TikTok age of content nowadays. Like if you don't have a 10-second video that just caught a million viewers' attention, you're worthless. And but it is what it is. It's evolution of technology and entertainment. But right now, I don't know exactly how I want to start pulling content. So I just went to YouTube. I filtered I just typed in shoplift, filtering by this week, and I sorted by view count. So these are obviously recent and hot videos relating around theft and shoplifting. I briefly ran through these videos just to make sure there's nothing that's gonna like immediately day one of my YouTube channel kill it due to language or the content that's displayed visually. Like that would be the last thing I want is official video number one gets smacked with a strike or the channel just gets deleted because it's new and I'm already breaking YouTube's TOS and policy and so on, so on, so on. So I also have to watch my language. Being former military, just me and myself in general. Sure, throw a cuss word out every now and then. Sue me. I'm a human. It happens. We all make mistakes, but I'm gonna try not to on here. And if I do, I will go back and you'll hear that telltale beep. This one, from my understanding, is in Houston, Texas. And this is at a Dollar General. You know what? I'll just play the video and we'll run with it. And I hope this is not too loud because it blew my ears out earlier.
Meanwhile, a group of shoplifting suspects thought they were walking out of Southeast Houston store trouble-free. Well, that was until they were confronted by some employees. Look at this. A guy filled up a shopping cart and then tried to leave the store off of Telephone Road back in March, but...
All right, so this is not what you would consider a random theft. This is not this person's first time. I can say from experience, and if a bunch of fellow APs and LPs get in my comments and they start looking at this, they will all agree that every time we catch someone, typically you spin a question of, well, I used to spin the question of how many times have you done this? How many times have you shoplifted? And it never failed. The suspect would 99% of the time they would give you this BS answer of, oh, this is my first first or second time. No, come on. If you stole one time before, then you know for a fact you've only stolen one time before. And if that was truly your first time stealing something, then you know for a fact that it was your first time stealing something. And every time they always squirmed and gave that same little answer of, just one or two times. It never failed. And then probably it all revolves around a lot of them may assume that we can prosecute them if they give us an actual number, but you still have to have proof. But these suspects here, and I'm always going to use the term suspects because I don't know if these cases are closed out or not, so it's always going to be suspects. Leave it to your own opinion whether they're guilty or not. I have mine. I'm pretty sure you'll read between the lines. But they're coming to Dollar General and loading up carts, and in the retail world, we call this a push out. And push outs are not newcomers. You know, your newbie shoplifters are not starting out doing push outs. That's just not how it's not how it's happening. These are people that's stolen before, and more than likely they've stolen at other places than Dollar General. And I mean, honestly, why? What are you getting at Dollar General? I mean, the only thing that I really could see at Dollar General worth pushing out like an entire cartload would be all your detergents. That stuff has a resale market at flea markets and stuff. So yeah, exactly. There's another one. Like all those tables that you see at flea markets, that's just flooded with rows and rows and rows of laundry detergent, soap, razor blades, like all the health and beauty accessories that are kind of expensive, but yet you can go to a flea market and get a $25 jug of Tide Pods, and you go to the flea market and get it for $5, $10. These are not people that has some weird connection with Tide or Downy. These are people that are fencing stolen merchandise. Like, it's bottom line, all that stuff's stolen. That I'm sure, yeah, some of it they might be conjuring off these pallet sales and stuff, but most of that product, that in that manner, at that price cut, it's stolen. And I'll bet you a paycheck that every other weekend, maybe every weekend, depending on where these flea markets are set up, there are investigators that are going plain clothes to these flea markets to discreetly photograph what's on these tables. They're going to discreetly photograph serial numbers, barcodes, the person selling the stuff, their vehicle, the vehicle's VIN, the license plate. They're gonna try to stake it out and take photos of people dropping off merch to them. Because some of these idiots will actually set up the flea market and they'll have their boosters come and sell them the stuff right there at the table. And by booster, I'm talking about these folks, like this cart full of detergent, because you're gonna see it right here.
That employee, you see, trying to stop him as two other people.
Well, you'll see it here in a second. But see, she ran out, and that's another term, a run out. You have push out, run out, your fire exit push outs. There's a lot of different terms. But they came to Dollar General just to steal. But in this cart, up around the child seat area, I think I saw like 2 or 3 things of Tide Pods, like laundry detergent. It's resale. I mean, yeah, they could have been using it for their self, but more than likely they're probably going to go resell it. And I mean, you could take a $25 thing of those Tide Pods and pop that on Facebook Marketplace and flip it for $10. Easy, all day long. Right as soon as you post it, I guarantee you'll sell it before the end of the day. Someone will buy it, even if they have to drive so far that it costs them $10 in gas to come get it. Because yeah, that makes sense. Commerce and math doesn't work for most people. But let's just play this out here real quick.
People also walked out with what police say was even more stolen stuff. Before that employee was shoved to the ground. They all ended up getting away in a light blue van.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Going back to the cart, like after being caught.
And call Crime Stoppers if these guys look familiar to you. Meanwhile, a group of shoplifting.
Okay, so one thing to note here, this is Dollar General. I know this is different in different areas for Dollar General, just different cities and states. That's one problem with misconceptions with retail theft, shoplifting, companies that the public doesn't grasp very well is a lot of these policies can change based on where the store is located, and it's all dictated by the jurisdiction and state laws, or just the partnerships that they have with law enforcement, or the lack of partnerships. Because there are some jurisdictions that just do not care about retail theft. They will not send an officer. It's just not their concern, not their problem. They consider it victimless, so they won't touch it. But this one, to my knowledge, and I'm not versed on every single company. I can talk about the companies that I'm familiar with, but I'm not knowledgeable on every single policy with every single company. There's way too many. I'm not going to know them all. But to my knowledge, Dollar General, Dollar General's employees are not allowed to apprehend shoplifters. They're not, by policy, they're not allowed to apprehend shoplifters. By policy, they're not allowed to leave the store to gather information on shoplifters. And by policy, they're definitely not supposed to be touching the shoplifters to physically apprehend them. Now, it's not assault. Legally, can that employee grab that shoplifter and detain them? 100% yes. It is not assault. Back when most retailers were, the term is hands-on. That was the term for all of us, where we could go and physically restrain a shoplifter if needed, if they were uncompliant. And we didn't go and just tackle everybody just all willy-nilly because we wanted to. But if they started giving us a mouth and beating around the bush, taking too long, we weren't going to stand outside on the sidewalk and argue for 10 minutes on whether they did or did not steal. If they wanted to sit there and run their mouth and argue about it, then we would forcibly redirect them, turn them, and just say walk while pushing them in the back, usually with one hand, just an aggressive "you're going" manner. And if that failed, then we went into a restraint. Because obviously this person's going to sit there and argue and just waste everybody's time and make a scene. But a lot of companies went hands off, meaning we could still approach, apprehend, but it became a verbal judo game. So now we just have to use our art of words to detain people, and that took a lot of getting used to for most of us. We done it, but now we had to do it on every single one of them. Um, but not all companies are hands off. There are still many companies that will physically restrain you if you refuse, and it is not assault. I want to make that clear. In no state is it assault to physically restrain a person that is suspected of shoplifting or committing a crime on property. The only thing that we're really acting on, and the only thing that we really stand on, is a citizen's arrest. The only difference between me making the citizen's arrest and, say, a normal person not in this career field making the arrest is we do it as a career. Our actions, our thought processes holds up better in court because this is what we do as a profession. So we all we're doing is just making a glorified citizen's arrest. That's it. So if we, and I'm going to say we, and I'm just going to encompass all AP and LP into this little bowl here. If we are physically restraining someone, it is not assault. I can't stress enough how many times I'm probably going to say this throughout the life of this channel. It is not assault. Now, let's flip that coin. If say this couple here, if it was at a different company, and I see them shoplifting, and I see them getting ready to push this cart out, and I go over, I get in front of them, introduce myself, make the apprehension, do all that stuff, and they refuse, and then it becomes to a point where, hey, in order to get this person to comply, I'm going to have to force them to comply because they're not going to do it on their own free will. It's not assault. It is not assault. I'm going to say it again. Now, let's say, for an example, crazy example, let's say this whole fight and struggle ends up going to the ground, which the majority of the time, one of the two ends up tripping the other, and someone goes down. Then in turn, you both go down. So now you're on the ground fighting for restraint. Suspects just trying to get away. I've only had, I could probably count on my two hands people that actually squared off and literally wanted to fight, or they'd pull a knife or gun, shotgun, whatever. That happened. Um, but the majority of the time, they're just fighting back, trying to get away because they don't want to be arrested. Pretty simple. Now, let's say I get them on the ground, and all of a sudden I'm just elbow strikes to the mouth and the nose just over and over and over and over and over, or I stand up real quick and kick someone in the ribs. That's assault. Like I just went beyond the realm of restraining someone. Now I'm just beating them. That's we don't do that. Yeah, I'm sure there's a bad egg somewhere out there that has done something stupid. There's there are those people in every career field. Every career field. Work in an office environment, you got some idiot in there making poor decisions and put a bad name to your office. With us, there's a bad AP LP somewhere that gave us all a bad name for a while until it all blew over. Law enforcement, unfortunately, has the same exact thing now, which everybody knows. It takes one bad cop to make a poor decision or just an outright bad decision to make an entire department look bad when the majority of the officers are great people and doing great things. The majority of us, we're great people and we're doing great things. Um, but this one, I saw a comment on here. Some of these comments, I'm gonna have to just scroll by because it's stupid. Let's see here. I'm not sure what this one's saying. They already lost to Walmart. They're gonna lose to Dollar General. I think she might be talking about Houston, where Walmart got shut down. Which there was 4 out of the 8 WalMarts in Illinois that closed down, and Walmart beat around the bush talking about this reason, that reason, this excuse, that excuse, but it came down to the communities up there absolutely ransacked those stores and destroyed them. And Walmart even had the nerve to reopen. I think all the stores. I might have to check that, but I think all 4 of those stores they actually reopened. They restocked the whole store. Well, they had to clean it first and sanitize absolutely everything in there, destroy, throw away all the damaged stuff, and then restock the entire store, which is an insane amount of money. And then what happened again? The community's done the same thing. And then those same communities are back out there saying, "How dare you leave us?" If I had a business and the community that my business sits in comes and loots my store and riots all through it, destroying the place, hey, best bet, I'm shutting down. You know what? Screw this community. I'm out. I'm going to go somewhere where I can make money. I'm not in it for hearts and minds. I'm in it to make money. Retailers are in it for a business. They're not in it for uh, humanitarian relief. They're in it because they're a business. They're in it because they have investors. They have employees that are trying to make a livelihood. Now, to touch on Dollar General, some things that I know some Dollar Generals have in areas is some stores do have a uniformed security presence, and I th- I'm pretty sure they contract out to external companies, like just external security companies that just assist and offer assistance, more of a presence than anything as a deterrent. But Dollar General does have a loss prevention department. Now they're handling more of your shrink that revolves around um, inventory and uh, all your food waste, stuff like that. Like those aspects where businesses lose money. But they would also handle a case like this. Now, would they ever prosecute? I'm not going to sit here and say that they would never prosecute, but to my knowledge, Dollar General is not contacting the police because someone went to Dollar General and stole a $1 toothbrush. That's just not reasonable. It's not feasible. Uh, it's just not happening. And every company has policies on when you do and do not prosecute. Um, some things that I think Dollar General could do better, and this is my part of my channel that I want to offer some insight on what I think Dollar General could do better, is more employees. I mean, Dollar General is not hurting for profit. The things pop up like garden weeds. You can be driving to work and see a bare naked open field. You could take your lunch. There's now heavy equipment there grading the thing off. By the time you're coming home, they have a grand opening sign up. Like they pop up that fast. It's insane. But they're not hurting for profit. Most of the Dollar Generals I go in, there's typically only 1 or 2 people in there. Yeah, of course, it's not a huge footprint of a store, and there's typically not that many customers in there. But every single time I go in, I have to stand up front and wait on the employees to come off the sales floor to come check out customers because they're usually tied up in a revolving door of putting out stock. And this is a negative. There should be, or could be. I'm gonna say should. I don't run Dollar General. I don't see their numbers. I don't see their metrics and stuff. But an easy solution here would be to have one person dedicated to the front that can walk laterally along the front end and could observe the aisles. This would be a deterrent. This is your deterrent aspect because a huge portion of loss prevention with retailers is you deter first. First and foremost, you try to deter. You become what is known as a hard target or a difficult target. You want to be the biggest pain in the you know what to a suspect. Like you want them to walk in and be like, man, this place, man, I can't get away here. Got everything locked up. And there's cameras everywhere, and there's 500 employees walking around. So they just leave and they go somewhere else. Like be the absolute hardest place to steal from that you can. And unfortunately, Dollar General is definitely not that. You go in there and the employees typically have earbuds in, listening to music. They're in their own little world, or they're outside on the sidewalk, smoking, playing on their phone, whatever the case may be, while customers are just running up and down each aisle, grabbing what they want, throwing it in their pants, in their bag, purse, you name it. But one thing that I see all the time that Dollar General fails on is being a hard target and deterring the theft before it even starts. Uh, then the other one is empowering the employees to actively deter shoplifts. I will not ever remember a time where I've been in a Dollar General and an employee has walked up and offered me assistance or asked me if I need anything or if I need help finding anything. To a shoplifter, that one thing right there, to a lot of suspects, that will scare them out of the store because now they're in this mindset of juggling. Do they know what I'm about to do? Why did they come over to me? So they're running all these questions in their head of why did that employee just come over and do that? They've never asked me for help before. I think they're on to me. So they'll either leave or they'll play it off and slowly make their way up front and like buy a drink or some candy or some chips and to legitimize their visit and then leave. Which, as far as a retailer, you made some money, you sold some things, and you just deterred someone without even really knowing it by offering customer service. It works. Does it sound cheesy? Absolutely, but customer service works. It works for a sales standpoint, and it's a great deterrent. So, Dollar General, if you're a store manager, empower your employees to go over and hammer the customers. Hey, do you need any help finding anything today? It's that simple. Because majority of the time, people are going to tell you no. I'm fine. No, I don't need anything. And if they ask you where something's at, hey, awesome. You just built a positive relationship with Dollar General and the customer because now your employees just helped out. So positive image all around. Get your employees out there to help out the customers. Now in this situation where the employee like, several times put their hands on the suspects, I get it. I get the frustration. I completely understand it. What they did is legal. They're not. It was not assault. They're well within their legal right to detain and apprehend these people. But as far as, to my knowledge, Dollar General's policy, they they broke policy. They didn't break the law. They broke policy. There's a difference. Company policy is not law. Company policy is not statute. Sometimes they might appear the same, but they're not. If I had to take a wild stab and guess, this employee either got fired or at the very least wrote up. If they've got some insanely great store managers, district managers, corporate level, and they brush this under the rug, then that's on them. That's Dollar General's choosing. They don't have to. They can pick and choose who they want to write up and who they want to fire. That's their business, literally. But if if I was there, the policy is black and white. You you know not to do it. You you know that your job's on the line. it's a huge stab in the gut to employees to just stand by and watch this stuff happen. I get it, but it's one of those tough pills to swallow. Like, okay, where do I stand with this? And that's a whole topic for another time. But for now, this was a Dollar General push out and run out with a employee that tried to physically restrain the suspects. This would, I suppose, be the end of the first video. I'm just gonna play it again just for one more time.
Suspects thought they were walking out of Southeast Houston store trouble-free.
Yeah, I was right. Okay, so I'm seeing 1, 2, 3. I don't know what that blue one might be, but those are that's laundry detergent. So, and I don't know what's in the rest of the shopping cart, like down in the main basket.
Well,
But yeah, this is more than likely they're gonna
that
go
was
and
until
resell
they
this stuff. Is that a cinder block?
were confronted
What's on the
by
side?
some
Looks like a cinder block. I don't think it is.
employees. Look
That's what it looked like. No, it's a box.
at this. A guy filled up a shopping
And the guy's determined.
cart and then
Now, one thing to note before I roll, what
try-
he is doing. If you get the right cop in the right jurisdiction and the right DA's office, they could hit him. They could hit him with assault. Now, there's many states that if what he's doing right now, like ignore the aggressiveness, just say that he walked out with it. Obviously, it's just shoplift. Now, if it meets a certain dollar amount, then it becomes a felony. It becomes felony theft. States are different. Statutes are different. I can't sit here and go over all 50 of them. But him using an aggressive manner to leave and physically trying to take the merchandise. I know several states that if you use force during the commission of your theft, you just bump your shoplift or theft to felony robbery. You just committed theft by force. Now, this is worded differently among statutes, but if I was Dollar General, I would go after him for that very statute. If Houston applies that statute, if you know about it, let me know. Educate me so that way I have knowledge moving forward about statutes around Houston and Texas and how the DA's office handles things down there. But there are many states. If you use force to commit your theft and to get away, you just bumped your crime up. So this guy,
I believe this
with the cart, that's using the cart as a weapon, because that's how this is going to be articulated. He's using the cart as a weapon to push that employee away, because the employee fell. So now there's injuries. Even if it's a bruise, there's an injury. Doesn't matter how small the injury is, even if it's a scratch. If you alter the physical state of someone's body, you just injured them. You don't have to poke them, with round holes or, blade holes. If you cause any alteration of their body, you just injured them.
store
Easy to prove, easy to run with in court. There's no argument there. He's using that cart as a weapon to assault the employee. The employee, acting as a merchant, is just trying to keep their stuff from leaving their store. Simple enough.
off of Telephone Road back in March, but that employee, you see, trying to stop him.
I don't know what was on the ground. Was it keys?
Two other people
did the guy,
also walked.
Did the guy drop the keys right here? I think that's what that was. Maybe. I don't know. But someone lost a shoe. I think it's the employees.
Out with what police say.
And this door, these are sliding doors, but in emergencies, you can just ram through them and they break away. All they do is just pop open, but you just go through. An employee would just go back and pull them back shut, and they're fine. The doors aren't broke. They're made to break away like that.
It was even more stolen.
So that backpack, I would probably take a wild stab and say is full of stuff. And on the right hand side, that white and like pinkish color bag, shoulder bag, it's probably full of stuff as well.
And stuff. Before that
And that employee
employee
right here gets directly hit by, I
was
think, girl, I believe,
shoved to the
right there.
ground. They all ended up getting away in a light blue van.
Did she just kick her? I think the suspect right here just kicked the girl as she was down. And it may have been a kick just to kind of like shoo her away, or it was actually a possible attempt to literally kick her.
Call Crime Stoppers if these guys look familiar
And that one, that handbag's full of stuff.
to you. Meanwhile,
I mean, these people came here with the 100% intent. Let's go see how much we can get out of Dollar General with. And
a group of shoplifting
I mean, yeah,
suspects thought they were walking out of
is
Southeast.
that a can of cheese? Oh, come on, come on. And I know a bunch of people are going to get in these comments and say, oh, they need this stuff, and they're going to play this group here as victims. No, they're not. They're not victims. I'm not going to sit here and boo-hoo and pity and pout and say, oh, well, Dollar General should have just gave them this stuff. No, they shouldn't. They can go work and earn their living like everybody else can. They all seem to be pretty well able-bodied individuals. They're out here running around on their 2 feet, using their 2 God-given capable arms to go and shoplift, and they can use those same extremities to go get a job and earn a living. That's my 2 cents on that part. Now, if they're just having trouble finding a job, oh well. Keep struggling until you get one. I mean, that's a pretty simple solution. It's the old saying, keep grinding.
Houston store trouble-free. Well, that was until they were confronted by some employees. Look at this. A guy filled up a shopping cart and then tried to leave the store off of Telephone Road back in March, but that employee, you see, trying to stop him.
I don't know what that was.
2 other people also walked out with what police say was even more stolen stuff before that employee was shoved to the ground.
Right there, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. She like straight elbowed her in the mouth. Like elbowed her right in the face to push her down.
They all ended up getting away in a
Okay. I don't think she tried to kick her. It's just all the flailing around with feet.
Blue van. Call Crime Stoppers if these guys look familiar to you. Meanwhile, a
there,
group.
But yeah, now hopefully they get caught. And the guy is definitely, his charge will definitely get bumped up. But then you've got courts that take stupid plea deals and pull everything down to meaningless misdemeanors and slap people with $50 fines, and then give them instructions on how they can expunge their record, which is another discussion for another day. I'll save it. But for now, I'm going to end this. Like I said earlier, my brain is exploding with commentary, knowledge, opinions, and all this other information. I'll be here for 6 hours straight. I'll be here for 12 hours straight. But until next time, this is official video number 1 of Shop Secure. Thank you, and I will see you next time. And again, for the outro, to beat the dead horse, because, hey, I want to grow the channel, and that's how it grows. Subscribe, notification bell. Please. I would love you if you do it. Thanks.